If you're the parent of a young athlete right now, there's a question that probably keeps you up at night. Not if your kid is talented, you already know they are. The question is, are you doing enough? Are you starting early enough? And is your family set up in a way that actually helps them succeed? Today's guest is going to answer a lot of those questions, not from a textbook, but from real life. Her daughter, Mackenzie, the Ansah Jackson, is a ninth grader out of Houston, Texas. She's already received Division I basketball scholarship offers, and that started in the 8th grade. She's polished, she's prepared, and she's being built the right way. But here's what makes this story different. It wasn't always smooth. There were speech challenges, there were family dynamics to navigate, and there was a whole system this mom had to build almost from scratch. If you got a talented elite athlete and you're trying to figure out how to position them, protect them, and push them in the right direction, stay with me. This is exactly the episode you need. Today, I'm so excited to have our guest here. Joining me is Shayla Ansah, mom of one of the most talked about young basketball prospects in Texas right now. I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Tell our listening audience, tell them who you are and who your daughter is. A little bit about you guys.
My name is Shayla Ansah, and I am the mother of Mackenzie, the Ansah Jackson. She's 15. She actually be 16 in September, so Sweet 16 is coming on up. Got to get that together. And then we have a youngest one, and his last name is Jackson, and it's spelled with an X, not your average Jackson. But yeah, so we started early kind of with Mackenzie, and it was natural. Like, you almost see that natural raw talent, and you're going to be like,
Okay.
wait, we got something here. And so we just kind of seen it and just poured into that talent.
So piggybacking off of that and her talent, Mackenzie started getting Division I offers in 8th grade, I believe you told me.
8th grade. Tennessee was her first offer.
Did you first realize, truly realize she was an elite athlete? She's got it.
Okay, so I got a mama brain. So if you ask my husband, he's gonna say a certain time. You ask her father, he may say sometime. But for me, I think I saw it when we were just outside in our driveway. My husband pulled down the basketball goal, and she was just dribbling. Of course, it was all just erratic or whatever, but she had just a natural kind of flow to her. And so my husband and her father was like, "Yeah, we're gonna see what we can do with that." So she was about 4 or 5 at the time.
So we as moms, we start to see traits. Okay, all right, they might have a little something. So back to those offers. When they first started coming in, when you got that first offer in 8th grade, what was your reaction? Were you prepared for it, or did it catch you off guard?
Baby, that was off guard. Because it was just, when you think about offers, you're thinking about high school, juniors, seniors. And I get it. The game is different now. Like, the girls, especially on the girls' side of basketball, is so much advanced now. For her to get an offer from Tennessee, be her first, offer was major. So since then, she had, I think, 9, 10 more. But it's nothing like your first, So that was a huge thing for the family.
I'm sure y'all probably hooped and hollered and celebrated and everything
Baby,
else.
mama was on 3-way. My dad was on 3-way. Her father, my husband. It was probably like 7, 8 of us, on that line when we were told she's going to get an offer today.
That's awesome. That process of offer, was it the coaches reaching out? Was it like evaluations? Was it because of AAU games? Like, how did they see her and how did they make that offer to you? Hey, sports moms, you want to see your athlete get that college scholarship, but the recruiting process feels like one big confusing mystery. Well, stop scrolling. I got you. That's why I created the Recruiting Roadmap, a completely free app designed specifically for the mom behind the athlete. It walks you through exactly what to do from 9th grade all the way through 12. There's a college offer tracker section, a place to upload your highlight videos, and a full library of coach email templates already written for you. I originally built this for football, but the tools work for almost any major sport. This app is going to help you get organized and help your athlete get seen by coaches and put them in the best position for that scholarship. And it's completely free. Just drop the word recruit in the comments right now, and I'll send the link straight to your DMs.
Well, Honestly, I didn't know they were looking at her. She had a really good season and it was AAU. And being very active on Instagram, as much as I'm not gonna say despise it because it has brought a lot of blessings and gifts, but it is, as you know, it is another full time to try to navigate. But having a presence on Instagram and showing her highlights and things like that, it attracted attention. And she kind of had a couple of viral clips. So I'm not sure if that's how Tennessee, how they saw her, but I know for sure they saw her at AAU. And then we were told, yeah, Tennessee liked her and Tennessee want to give her an offer.
A parent listening right now who has a kid in middle school and thinks it's too early to start thinking about any of this, what would you tell them?
Ooh, baby, no, it is not too early. Now, what I will say, I didn't force a single sport on Mackenzie because I feel like she needed to be in multiple sports because as we know, different sports work with different parts of the body. And essentially they all kind of help each other in the long run. So it definitely is Mackenzie's choice. But like I told her and my other children, if you tell me that's what you want and you're gonna stand on that, me, my husband, your father, we're going to put the utmost effort behind it until you
Right,
tell us you don't want it. So it is not too early, but it's not too late either. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm behind. She had
right,
an offer in
right.
eighth grade, or she started at 4. Absolutely not. We know how it works when kids can bloom
Develop,
earlier.
yeah,
Exactly. Trust the process, man. God has a great thing in store. So you really have to trust the process, but really listen to your children as well.
right, right. And I want to make the point that I don't want other parents, like I highlight athletes. We're talking about Mackenzie today and her talent and her offers. But again, your child might, not every child gets an offer in eighth grade. You're not behind.
Sure.
You're on your schedule.
Exactly.
And, I believe in a higher power. I don't know if everybody doesn't, but your
Right
timeline and
on
God's
time.
timeline is exactly that. It's his timeline.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
yeah, don't compare your kid to somebody else's kid. Just
That
pour
is, because
into,
believe me, exactly. They're
yeah,
already, social media got them already comparing. Like, you don't want to be that added, pressure. Oh, look who got this, who got that. It doesn't matter because if it's designed destiny for your child, your son, your daughter to play at a high level, to be successful, if that's inevitable in their life, it doesn't matter. And I stand
right,
on that.
right, right. So I watched a interview or two of Mackenzie's she did before today.
Hmm.
And I have to say, for a 15-year-old, she carries herself pretty well on camera.
Hmm.
She's articulate, she's composed, and she knows how to tell her own story. But she told me something before we recorded last time we spoke, and I think it's going to resonate probably with a lot of people. Mackenzie had a speech impediment when she was younger. And tell us about when you first noticed it and how did you decide to address it?
Yeah, so once again, mama brain. Because I'm pretty sure it came around like 4, 5 years old. It could have been even sooner when obviously I have an older daughter, so you have that comparison. Like Madison was doing this at 2, or Madison was doing this at 4. Madison had these words together, but Mackenzie wasn't putting her words completely together. And so she did pre-K, and her teacher was amazing, and she agreed. And so we put her in speech therapy in school, which it's not a lot of time you get in speech therapy in school. So me and my husband went ahead and went on an outsource and had a therapist come to the house for about a better part of a year. She came, but this was she was older, so this is who I'm going to say about fourth, fifth grade. When I realized like it's still kind of delayed. So I know Mackenzie had some insecurities when it came to that. But like I've told Mackenzie several times, how your success is going and how God already has your plan, you're gonna be in front of the camera. So those interviews are inevitable. You're gonna have to speak. And if you want to be at your let's be clear, regardless, somebody always has something to say. You're
Right,
not gonna be perfect. You understand? I don't
right,
care.
right,
And I preach that heavily. But if you want to be confident in what you say, then we have to be more mindful about how you articulate or how you speak. And so it was funny because yesterday we had got an interest call to do an offer, and she had to speak to the coach, and I was like, I sat back, just a proud mama, because I was like,
Yes.
I seen the development. Like, okay, so she listened. Okay, like I see that she's slowly getting to shed that insecurity of speaking and speaking with more confidence. So it came with time for sure.
Yeah. To that point, I mean, just teenagers in general and girls. I mean, there's body image, there's a whole lot of stuff going on then, and just feeling shy. So
Yeah,
I commend any kid that I come across that's, they might not have the vocabulary and everything. I don't speak perfectly and
right,
I'm well
exactly.
educated, but if they're able to project themselves, look an adult in the eye and have a conversation, I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you. Because they already
I
don't
love it.
talk now, this generation. They already, right. So that
Everything's
was one thing. Like, you gotta, it's almost gonna be a lost art if y'all don't communicate
So, how did you find the right help for her? Was it school based or was it private? Because that makes a difference.
significantly, because the education system can be flooded with a lot of children. So I took it a point to go through my insurance, which I have I have very good insurance, and I just went and found a speech therapist that
Okay.
highlighted what Mackenzie needed.
Did she do any like interview training or did she have anything like that?
No, well, with the speech therapist, no,
Okay.
because she was about fourth, fifth grade with her. But with me, like I told Mackenzie, I had to do an interview about last year on our news station, and it just it took me a while to re-watch the interview because for one, I'd be like, oh my god, you sound so country, like oh my god, like like, it was
It
just
makes you though.
it does. But it was the perfect example for me to tell Mackenzie, like, look at me. Like, I'm out here doing it scared. I'm doing it, but I'm scared, but I'm doing it. And I think it's easy for me to relate to her, and she can see, like, well, mom's not just saying it. Like, she's actually doing it. So she may have some merit behind what she's saying. So I say all that to say, like, I tell Mackenzie, you gotta listen to your interviews. You gotta go back. It's cringy as they love to say cringy as it may feel, but you have to, because that's the only way you're going to get better at it.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Parents out there who have kids who have also similar communication challenges, maybe a stutter, shyness, social anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and they may feel like that's the ceiling on how far their child can go because they're never going to
Mm,
be comfortable. All of us want our kids, want them to be perfect, right? We don't want them to have any
yeah,
flaws and that sort of thing. So,
right. But that's
what do
not
you
how
say
God
to those
intended it.
parents about their kid going
Mm-mm.
beyond that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this, man. God has a plan for you, and if you can stick to that plan, if you can believe into it, if your child can buy into it, as well as yourself, because they can feel if you're having any doubt. Like, you can tell them much, but if you don't stand on that, like, stand in that whatever you're telling them. So I would say to them, you may not have the best insurance to go out and get, private. And I get that for sure. Like, I was blessed enough to have that ability to get private, have insurance and get a private tutor. But there's things you can actually do, whether it's stuttering, any type of disability or insecurities your child is dealing with, to make them feel better about it. Because at the end of the day, like, there is always someone watching that's like, oh my God, they have the same issues and they're thriving, they're doing well, and they're owning it. I've seen one, I think he plays football, and he has like a pretty bad stutter. And I love the way he said, he was just like, that's me, authentically me. And somebody is watching me saying, I have a bad stutter as well. And he's in front of this camera and he's doing it. I'm sure it took him a while to get there, but it's really having confidence and pointing to your children, making sure they know that they are perfectly in God's eyes and they're gonna do well regardless. But you just have to stick to that for sure.
Listen, I point out, perfect example is Magic Johnson. Go back and look at
Exactly.
Magic Johnson in the beginning. Listen, Magic Johnson put in some work
Yes.
because Magic sounds like $1 million a day and he's worth several bazillion $1 million
Listen,
today. But
okay.
from a guy who
That's a good
had
example. That's a good
he had
example.
a stutter and a country accent, as you say, Magic has
Hmm.
come a long way. And that's to say that you and your athlete can also achieve
A
the same
thousand
thing.
percent. A
Yeah.
thousand percent.
So let's talk about the physical side because this is something that separates families who build elite athletes from those who don't. And most people don't talk about it it's too late. When I talked to you originally, you were coming from a treatment or recovery session. Can you tell me about Mackenzie's recovery routine, like what you guys do on a weekly basis to keep her body, that is her tool, tuned
Yes,
up?
you only get one. Okay. So it's demanding, as parents with athletes know. Like it's a lot on them. And I'm new to this. Like I've never raised a D1 athlete. Like, Jackson, next one up, like I have a better understanding. But right now it's a bunch of trial and error. So I wasn't familiar about ice baths or ice plunging, anything like that, or red light therapies. The kid got tall really fast. Like she woke up and I was like, oh God, what happened? And so for me, like it made her alignment off the. So we started doing chiropractic. She does strength and conditioning. We try to get her in ice bath at least once a week. And she has a massage machine. She does the compression legs at school. So it's all like it takes a tribe, baby, to make sure that her body is well taken care of.
When did
Hmm.
you realize recovery needed to be a priority? Was there
Honestly,
injury? Was there a conversation with a trainer? What made you say, "Hey,
yeah.
we got to do a little bit more for her after her workouts"?
It wasn't until probably like summer of going into her freshman year in high school that now people would say like, get her some ice and things like that. I think it was her high school coach, her AAU coach saying like she does need her own recovery plan. So she had to find a regimen. Like we have to find something that she can do within reason that she can do without me telling her. Like when she gets the massage gun and goes upstairs and massage. So I didn't to answer your question. I don't think I took it as seriously until probably going into her freshman year in high school. Which
Okay.
it should have been sooner, but you know
I'm saying
it's my first time doing this.
kudos to her AAU coach for suggesting it, though, because
Yes,
a lot of times the coaches, and I'm not trying to bash coaches. I said this on a couple shows that you don't know what the training level is of the people that are coaching your child. So it's on your ownness to figure out
for
also what they
sure.
need. But for a coach to recommend to your child to do something a little bit extra, you got to look at.
Hmm.
I'm going to give the example of LeBron. LeBron spends millions of dollars on his recovery. Now, we can't do that. We're regular people, right?
Yeah, not yet,
But
not yet.
if your child is an elite athlete, you need to investigate some of these tools that are going to help your child's recovery go smoother. And I'll say this because I've spoken to a number of people in the sports industry, but sleep is the number one thing. So when your
So
child's not
so
getting enough
simple.
sleep, it affects everything physically. So tell us what Mackenzie's typical week looks like. How's the training, the school, the recovery? I mean, you're in this with her. So what does a week look like with her?
Child, the ghetto. Obviously, it varies. Like we're in live period now, and so it's funny because today I'm trying to text and get her schedule done for today because it's my daughter's birthday but it's also Kenzie's strength and conditioning day. On a good week with no distractions and no live period, Mackenzie does strength and conditioning Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for an hour, and then she does private shooting Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as whatever her high school coach, because now we're going to be in a period what's called TABC. It's like I'm sure they have it in all, but well, that's what the acronym means, child. But I know it's like Texas Basketball Association something, but they have that in June or July. I don't know. I don't know anything unless I have my schedule in front of me. I'm very old school. Like I got to write my stuff down. Like I need to have a plan in front of me. But so now her high school coach is implementing practices. So she'll end up doing like Monday practice with the coach after school until about 4, and then strength and conditioning at 7. So like that's her typical week without us leaving. Like we just got back from New Orleans. What's today? Tuesday? We got back from New Orleans Sunday night. So she couldn't do strength and conditioning on Monday because she wasn't recovered enough. So it's just it varies. We gotta pivot a lot. And me and my husband, we gotta be on this. I would say we line up calendars, but we don't. We ain't learn our lesson. We just be out here thugging it out. And it works.
And
Like
and
it
when
works,
how
you know.
when is she or how does she get her homework done amongst all that stuff? Is she doing it in the car while she's riding? Does she stay a little extra after school or wait for you to pick her up? She's doing her homework because when they get home, they're
Man,
tired after all this.
they're exhausted.
And make no mistake that they are student athletes first. Now your child has the talent, but if they can't get the grades, that offer that they got in maybe 8th, 9th, 10th grade can be taken away from them because they need
Like that.
students first. You got to be able to keep your grades up. So when did she get
There
her
you
homework
go.
done?
There you go. Listen, one thing we don't play about is education here. Like my oldest one graduated summa cum laude. My husband has a master's degree. Like I told Mackenzie this the other day. I was like, I'm so proud of you because her grades are excellent. I don't know how she do it. Like, 'cause baby, I barely had I don't know. I barely had one, sport in high school, and I was struggling. So, but Mackenzie does do her work late at night, and that's the problem with the sleep. Like, I will go up there in her room, and it's about 10:30, and she's finishing work. And I told her this was probably like a week ago. I said, Mackenzie, that's not sustainable. Like, yeah, you're doing well. And your A's be strong, and she's even starting college courses like her sister did next year. And I said, you're gonna have to find time to where you're not that late. But typically it is in the car. And like I said, it's sometime late, but she's gonna have to learn to pivot with and come to that because it won't be sustainable to be up that late to trying to finish.
Right.
You gotta
Well,
find a balance.
to that point, it gets worse in college, of course, right? So I had three
Listen,
Division I athletes, and then travel, big time travel, becomes involved, and now it's staying up on airplanes to get your work done or in airports. So you might as well, moms, you might as well let those kids know now. Again, they might have the talent, but if they can't keep up with their work, then they're going to be ushered on out the program.
they
So
gotta come first before
yeah,
anything. And she know we don't play.
get on them now. I want to just pivot for a second, and I want to talk about something that I think gets overlooked a lot in these conversations, and that's family dynamics. Because the reality is that not every athlete comes from a traditional two-parent household. My
Hmm.
household where my kids were raised, when they were really getting into sports, their dad and I weren't together. So it wasn't a
Mm,
traditional two parent household, but we made it work and they were
hmm.
successful. So I think your family has built an actual model that a lot of people could learn from. You're remarried, and Mackenzie has a stepfather who's very much involved. How did the three of you, your husband, and Mackenzie's father come together in supporting her in this effort to raise this elite athlete?
Yeah, so I got married when Mackenzie was like 2. So even when me and her daddy were at our best, I always knew like I needed a dynamic for the success of our children. Like I needed a dynamic that where my children and their father and my husband could coach. We've been married going on 12 years, and the dynamic between us three has always been the betterment of our children because that's the only way the success is going to happen. And when me and Melvin don't see eye to eye, I never let it go over to my husband because their relationship is very good. Like me, him, and me, my husband, and Mackenzie's dad, we could be on the phone for hours just talking about mostly it's gonna be about basketball. 99% 49 about basketball. But we can build but we built that relationship and it came over time. But at the end of the day, we just have to be mature and adults about it. How can we make this coincide together? Like how we find success? Because that's where wealth is. Like wealth is built there. At the end of the day, when this money flows in, like we need to be on solid ground. And so that's how it happened. And I'm gonna say it was easy. Like people like, oh, it's so hard. I just made it separate. Like I
Okay.
needed to be a happy dynamic.
Okay. And I was going to say that I was going to ask you about growing pains, but I guess y'all didn't. You just came to resolution that this we just gonna make it
Yeah.
work because
We're gonna make it
when
work,
when
man.
when there's co-parenting around like a high stakes athletic career, like everybody's gonna have their opinion, but that when the child is an elite athlete and you really want to see them go far, like it can create conflict. So that you guys were okay with that. It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't
Okay.
too because our vision for her aligns. Like we don't always agree, but we can agree to disagree. But the main picture, the big picture, we all align in it. And at the end of the day,
Awesome.
it's the success of our kids.
Awesome. So, what does each parent's role look like? So, you, your husband, her stepdad, what does your role look like when it comes down to like her weekly, training or basketball games or traveling? And how does it work?
Well, since he lives about 45 minutes away from us. So when it comes down to your daily thing, your daily practices, your daily schedules, that's going to fall on a lot on me and not too much on my husband because he works his schedule is erratic. But When it comes to those daily things, it's me and my husband, 100%. But camps, her dad, her father, he does a lot of the camps, like the big camps. He'll do those camps, and then we will alternate travel. Like for instance, he went to Phoenix a couple of weeks ago. Now I did New Orleans this past weekend. So we'll alternate there. And then sometimes we both want to be there. Like we have Chicago and what's coming up? Oh, and Vegas coming up. So we might both end up being there 'cause we want to be there. So typically we'll alternate. Like if you can do it, I'll do it. But the dynamic works. I wish it
Okay.
was closer for sure because I can lend some of that because those daily day things are taxing, very much so. But he lives too far, and I understand that.
Okay. What would you say to a blended family or a single parent who feels like their family structure is a disadvantage, like it's not working? What do you tell that parent right now?
And at the end of the day, we got to put our big girl men underwear on because a lot of that stuff is emotional based. You understand? Like a lot of it is something that you don't want to put the pride to the side, or you don't want them to have an upper hand, or things of that nature. But if if the main goal is to protect your children, you're going to find a way to make it work. That's all I can say about it because there's many times I couldn't stand Melvin, but I knew the bigger goal. Hell, sometimes I can't stand my husband, but I know the bigger goal, and I never allow a temporary feeling to mess up the bigger goal at hand. And the bigger goal is going to always be the success of your children and the wealth that it's going to bring. So if you can get your emotions to the side, if you can pull that out the way, and you can always focus on the end goal, I can only see success. Like people be making it hard for no reason. I get it. You understand? But at the end of the day, man, it's a success of the children. And people always think like you gotta have an obscene amount of money for that dynamic to work. But right now we're middle class, but this wealth is on the way. It's work as if the wealth, the success is already there, and then God gives you that. You can't be a woe is me and want this these gifts. It doesn't work that way. You got to already step into that.
Yes, amen to that.
Preach, preacher. Okay.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Let the church
Thank you.
say.
Amen.
So I want to, if that wasn't personal enough, I want to get a little more personal for a minute because I think the parents listening need to hear this. With everything Mackenzie has going on at such a young age, the attention and the offers and expectation, what's the fear you have had to face as her mom?
Mm. People praying on her downfall. People praying on her downfall because not everybody wants your child to succeed. There are really jealous, envious people out there. So I pray diligently over them, all three of my children, because I know not everybody wants to see them successful. So my biggest fear outside of like injury, and I mean like season ending injury, pray that everything is sent her way, God sent it. That Yahweh has sent everything her way, and that's it. And everything else is getting blocked out because people are gonna, oh, congratulations, this, that, third, and right as soon as you turn around, I hope she don't get it. I hope she don't get it. And I know they exist. I know they exist. They're there for a reason. The way I pray, the way I cover my children, Mackenzie specifically, because I know she's finna be hot. She's already got a target. The target's there. Once you're on the watch list, once ESPN see you, once you got these offers, parents are saying, "This is her. I want you to go after her." And it's competition. Like it is what it is. Like that's a part of the game. But that has and will forever be my biggest fear that people just don't want to see her succeed.
Okay.
So you got to cover
And
your children.
and that's a valid concern. Quite honestly, there's
Mhm.
a lot of people are trying to see your kids' downfall. Grown people too, coaches. It's just
The
crazy.
grown ones is the worst ones. They the worst. They, they're the worst ones. A thousand
Yes,
percent.
yes,
They're the
yes,
worst ones. And the worst part, they think we don't know that. We know that. So that's why you
yes.
have to cover your children.
So, how do you protect her childhood? Because she's still a ninth grader. She should still be having
Mhm.
fun, being a kid. How do you make sure she doesn't get swallowed up in this whole process?
That's just that. I let her be a kid. I let her make mistakes. I took like she didn't want to go to the homecoming dance this year, her freshman year. I said, Mackenzie, you won't miss another dance because I want you to enjoy high school. It's high school. Like you can't miss those certain little things that make it high school. So and if we're out of town, like yeah, it's business. You understand? You're on the clock. We doing these live periods, baby. You're on the clock. Okay, it's time to check in. But I save space to her to go get merch or go have a little fun here. But at the end of the day, and that's what I want to address, like that healthy. It was like a little debate online. Like, do you let your kids enjoy or make it a vacation? Uh, 80-20, maybe sometime 90-10, because it's clock in time. You got to go to work. And if time permits, we can have other fun, but this is not our vacation. But sometimes when it comes to finances, all these stops, you might as well make one a vacation because you're there already. But I do make it a point to tell her if she's tired, don't worry about it. If she want to go out with her friends, I don't be like, oh yeah, do this. Go, please. Because you're not going to get that youth back.
Right. Yeah. You need balance. And these are what help build
1,000%.
healthy athletes. When they get to the college level, there's so much so much that they have to miss because when you get to college, it turns into a business. It's
Yes,
fun now. You get the college offer. Those colleges are expecting you to perform. So you miss a lot of
gotta
things.
perform. You
I'm
gotta,
always
but it's a
amazed at
business now.
it is a business, especially now with this NIL stuff that's going
Yeah,
on. So kids are getting offers earlier and earlier. So, but your kid has to be a kid. You got to work that into. I mean, they weren't born to be an adult right off the bat. So let them be kids.
yeah, yeah.
Has
A
Mackenzie
thousand
ever
percent.
herself pushed back or said, I need a break or this is too much?
Yes,
How did you handle that?
you're right. Go to sleep. Like yesterday, she came home. She was supposed to stay after. She was going to stay after for school, and she came home, and I said, Mackenzie, she was like, I'm tired. You're right. Go to sleep. You played 5 games in New Orleans this weekend. We have to travel there and back. Like you're exhausted. You have to listen. Now, there's times I say I don't care as well. Like, I don't care you're tired, let's go. But you have to really listen and be mindful of that because if they're saying things and like when your kid is tired or when they just don't want to do like as a mama, you just know. As a father, you just picking up on those things. When she came home yesterday, I was like, oh. I said after she was like, I'm tired. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Go to sleep. So yeah, it's once again, it's a healthy. You got to have a healthy balance at that.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. All right. Mom behind athlete. Let's have a little fun for a second. This is
Okay,
we're
okay.
going to call this a lightning round. And I want you to say the first thing
Lord.
that comes to your mind.
Okay.
All right. So one word to describe Mackenzie on the court.
A dog.
One word to describe her off the court.
Pup.
Biggest mis-
Gentle.
biggest misconception people have about raising an elite athlete.
They start. They start off elite.
Mm,
They don't. they can.
yes.
They can grow into it.
The one thing you wish someone had told you when this all started. Quick, 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 quick.
Yeah, it's lightning round, right? The sacrifice. Like you're gonna have to make real sacrifices, and not just for her, but for the family structure. So yeah, sacrifice for sure.
Got it. Dream school for Mackenzie right now. If you can say. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, I would like it. Yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna say. We
All
all know how
right.
that go.
Okay. Shayla, this has been absolutely incredible. You're clearly not just a mom, you are a strategist and an advocate, and honestly, a blueprint for what intentional parenting looks like of an elite
Oh,
athlete. So I want to
thank
thank you
you.
so much for your time and being open about all of this. You've given us some excellent information. We've touched on some stuff that could be sensitive for folks. And
Mhm.
I want our moms to take this all in and figure out how they can incorporate this into their lives, into their family structure. We're all going to be watching Mackenzie, and I have a feeling we're going to be talking about her for a long time.
Amen.
Moms, if you have taken nothing else from today's episode, take this. The families that produce elite athletes are not just working on the skill, they're working on the whole person, the voice, the mindset, the body, the family unit, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Take it all in. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed.
Mom behind the
Thank you.
athlete.
Thank you.
Out.